Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about that very intense storm out west. Now, before we get into the video, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. For today's comment of the day, I want to know, how much rainfall do you think we could see out west in, like, the maximum region? What do you think that maximum is? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now, we're going to take a look at a few videos here. This first one is actually showing us our pressure here. Each circle resembles a millibar change. And as you can see, new circles are being added like every couple of hours. That is that pressure continuing to drop as it approaches the Pacific Northwest. Very interesting situation we have on our hands. And then here is the satellite imagery on the same program. And as you can see, that satellite imagery does not look good. This is obviously a monster storm. There's no denying that. I wish we had satellite information that far out to sea. But right now with WSV3, I do not, unfortunately. But we can see for the most part what we need to see. And this storm has some nice spin to it. It is a very intense storm. And really, when you see a storm like that headed towards you, I think there's no denying that this is a very major situation. Now, let's also take a look at some radar imagery here. And as you can see already, that storm we saw was very offshore, very far away still, and it's going to be getting here later today. But we already have some heavy precipitation heading into California, Oregon, and starting for Washington now, but especially California down there where we already have some snowfall going on there for the mountainous regions. That is going to accumulate quickly, and it's going to continue to accumulate for days there as that heavier precipitation continues to move on shore. Very interesting situation we have on our hands. Now let's move on to some modeled guidance. And as you can see, this is our European model simulated radar. And as you can see, this is basically right now, and this is looking very similar to what we saw on the actual radar, which is usually a good sign if it looks similar to what's actually happening by time that model is forecasting for the same time frame. That's a good sign that this model has a great handle on this storm system. Now, by the time we reach late morning, this is probably going to be about 11 a.m. or so. I mean, this is looking very intense. Washington, Oregon, California, very heavy snowfall coming down for the mountains, and then very heavy rainfall for those lower elevation regions. And you can see that low pressure system is still very far away. Again, the circles are indicating different pressure. So the smaller circles in the middle are going to be your lowest pressure, where that low pressure center is. And that still is, like I said, very far away by that point. All right, now what we're going to do here is we're going to move on. We're going to move on towards late tonight, take a look at that simulated radar, and then we're going to take a look later on in the forecast. We're even going to take a look at when this storm could head further east. We're going to take a deep dive into the east. We're going to take a look at that potential nor'easter that I've been talking about that I haven't really featured enough. We're also going to talk about a huge cooldown out east towards the end of the video that is coming up. So stay tuned for all of it. Now, this is going to be this evening, basically after 8 p.m. And as you can see, that low pressure system is finally drawing closer to the west coast. And we have that heavy snowfall still ongoing for California, Nevada, some exclusive regions of Washington and Oregon. And then we also have Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming becoming included as well by this point. Now, heavy rainfall is widespread throughout the northwestern corner of the country, as you can see, even pretty far south into California, and it's going to continue to head further and further south all the way until when it reaches Southern California. So this storm is going to impact just many different regions, and this is by the time we are reaching about the morning hours of tomorrow, Monday, October 25th. And as you can see, that snowfall for California and Nevada just gets insanely heavy, and this is why we're going to see multiple feet of snowfall accumulate for these regions. We still see snowfall ongoing for Nevada, Idaho, Montana, as well as Washington, and that low pressure center still has not moved onshore. Just a very intense situation we have on our hands here. And this is by the time we reach tomorrow evening, Monday, probably at about, again, 8 to 10 p.m. time frame here for the western United States. And as you can see, still that snowfall is ongoing for the Northwest, the Rockies, and for portions of California and Nevada, with still that heavier rainfall. Now, by the time we reach Tuesday afternoon, probably about 1 to 3 p.m. sometime in that time frame, you can see this snowstorm is still impacting the Pacific Northwest, but we see a lot of the Rockies becoming included now by this point. Wyoming, Colorado, and Utah specifically, but also Idaho and Montana. And this storm is just impacting so many different regions. And by Wednesday, this is going to be Wednesday morning time frame. You can see this one is starting to taper off. We still see that snowfall coming down. This is going to be a very long-lived storm. Also, a lot of rainfall still for the lower elevation regions. But it's right now when we need to take a national view, actually, to take a look at what's ongoing. We have our main storm system over the central United States, still some precipitation for the western United States, and a strong nor'easter by this point as well, offshore of Long Island, a 984 millibar low pressure center that's going to move off shore of New England and just head kind of in a northeasterly direction. And it's going to impact all of those northeastern states, bringing a lot of rainfall. Let's zoom into this, and as you can see, heavy rainfall for a lot of those states in the northeast. Like I said, we'll take a look at the total rainfall towards the end of this video. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on towards very early on Thursday, October 28th, and then we're going to move towards the 29th, and then eventually the 31st and the 1st, and then we're going to take a look at that big cool down, the total rainfall, and the total snowfall. Now, as you can see, we're taking a look here at the very early hours of Thursday, October 28th. And as you can see, we have a strong low pressure center over the central United States, more specifically Oklahoma there. We actually have multiple severe weather threats, an enhanced risk today with a 10% chance of tornadoes, and I think that is hatched as well, which indicates that there could be some stronger tornadoes as well. So we're going to want to be on the lookout for that. Pay attention to what the National Weather Service is putting out. We have multiple other smaller and maybe even similar severe weather threats coming up in kind of the short to medium term. So you're going to want to be paying attention to all of those things. But a lot of these low pressure centers that are moving over the central United States have a lot to do with this. And as you can see, by the time I reach Thursday evening, this actually moves mostly into the eastern United States as a 998 millibar low pressure center, a very strong low pressure system for being over land that long, actually. And by the time I reach Friday afternoon time frame, this actually becomes a 993. So it is weakening over land, and it's located pretty much in between Tennessee and North Carolina by that point. But we still have a lot of moderate moderate rainfall. Don't want to freak people out. There's no moderate snowfall coming down for the eastern United States. Moderate rainfall, better yet, for these regions. And then eventually this one kind of moves up, kind of like an inland nor'easter. We see this storm track a lot where it doesn't really reach offshore, but it does kind of curve to the northeast. It's not necessarily a nor'easter, and they can't really intensify like a nor'easter does when they're over land as opposed to over water, but it does have that kind of similar storm motion, and it will bring a lot of rainfall to a lot of regions. Now, we can see there's a strong low pressure center over Canada. We're going to want to pay attention to that because by time we move towards 2 a.m. on Monday, November 1st, we can see this one moves further east. And that wind, because everything's moving in a counterclockwise motion, obviously, that wind is wrapping around and it's creating this huge Arctic blast that is heading in through the north central United States. And as we take a look at those temperature anomalies, this is going to be later on November 2nd, we could see far below normal temperatures move into the eastern half of the country and above normal temperatures move into the west. This is that big pattern change I've been talking about for days now, and you can see kind of, a much closer look at why this is going to be occurring. Now, total rainfall, if you're anywhere in the grays, greens, or blues, you're under an inch of rainfall. Those yellows are going to be your 1 to 2 inches. Your reds are going to be your 2 to 5. And those brown areas, we see some of that for Northern California, portions of Washington, and then also for the New England states. That is where we're at 5 to 10 inches of rainfall. And even those blues you can see for a lot of Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and even Connecticut, as well as portions of Washington, that is where we're at 10 inches plus over a 10-day period. That's an average of 1 inch per day, which is obviously very extreme, to say the least. So we have some flooding concerns for a lot of these regions as well. And then total snowfall here for this big snowstorm out west. If you're anywhere in the blues or the grays, you're under 6 inches of snowfall. If you're anywhere in the purple, 6 to 10. Pinks is going to be your 10 to 20. And then your pastel blues is going to be your 20 to 36. And your pastel purples and pinks are going to be your 36 inches plus. And you can see we do expect a lot of that 36 inches plus for California. and also the mountainous regions of Canada up there for sure as well. So yes, a very major snowstorm is on the way, but mostly exclusive for those higher elevation regions. Our confidence tab today is at a 4 out of 6 because we talked about some longer range things and some shorter range things, and that brings us more towards a medium to medium high confidence. For today's comment of the day, I asked you guys how much snowfall do you think we can expect out west as a maximum with this snowstorm? And Ethan Gillespie said, I definitely think that the snowstorm out west will drop a foot of snow or more in the mountains of California. I would say that's a safe bet. I would say definitely 2 or 3 feet is a big possibility as well, but I didn't get any comments like that. So I picked the best one I could find. Ethan Gillespie, good comment of the day there. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons: Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Larry the Pan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland as well. I'd also like to thank our diamond patrons: Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Kudalesic, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Cindy Klein, Charles Stinnett, Alan Goodmaben, Bill Dallas, Gary, John Colisi, Dwight Phelan, Stephen Cornetto, and Thomas D. Barr as well. If you'd like to be a part of this very awesome patronage tree today, you can do so by joining our very amazing Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comments down below. I would also thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. This will be located next to that subscribe button down below if you are interested in joining. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.